Today, we are diving into a really powerful fable. It's a story about two clashing philosophies, one of frantic, endless striving, and the other of a deep, final stillness. It's all about ambition, knowledge, and, the ultimate meaning of existence itself.
So let's jump right into the heart of it with this incredibly haunting line. This is a challenge from a mysterious soothsayer to a master clocksmith, and it really just cuts to the core of their duel. Is that relentless ticking of time a sign of life? Or is it just the echo of something that's already gone?
So, our story kicks off in a place called the Sleeping Well, inside a shop that is just a cathedral of frantic ticking. This is the world of the clocksmith, a man completely obsessed with the perfect precision of his gears, and he's driven by this singular, all-consuming goal. You see, he wasn't just building clocks. He had this almost Faustian belief that if he could just achieve perfect mechanical precision, he could actually master the fleeting moment itself, that he could conquer the nothingness that surrounds all of us. For the clocksmith, this wasn't a job. It was more like a spiritual quest. Every single gear, every spring, every precise tick-tock was his way of affirming life. It was a defiant shout against the silent abyss of eternity. His work? Well, it was his religion. But then, into this world of manic energy and defiant ticking steps the soothsayer. He moves with this quiet finality, and he speaks with a voice that's described as a pendulum swinging through thick oil. And as you can imagine, he brings a completely different perspective. And this right here lays out their two opposing philosophies perfectly. On one side, you have the clocksmith's world of action, of building, of saying yes to life, and always trying to become something more. And on the other side, the soothsayer's worldview, a deep weariness, an acceptance of the end, and this great refusal to even take part in the struggle. So the soothsayer just completely flips the clocksmith's heroic work on its head. That triumphant ticking, he says that's not the sound of progress or life at all. To him, it's the sound of erosion, the world and the clocksmith himself just slowly wearing away with every single moment that passes. The clocksmith, though, he's completely undeterred. He decides he's going to end this argument once and for all. So he reveals his secret, his masterpiece, a creation he believes will be the ultimate proof that his philosophy is the right one. And this thing, it wasn't just another clock. It was a clockwork mind, an artificial intelligence housed in the body of this huge, magnificent brass owl with glowing emerald eyes. It wasn't built to just measure time. It was built to know it, to calculate the fate of every single particle in the universe. The clocksmith presents it as the absolute pinnacle of existence. He thinks he's built a perfect, immortal consciousness, a witness that can observe all of eternity without ever getting tired. This is his holy yes, finally made real in solid metal. But where the clocksmith sees his greatest triumph, the soothsayer sees the ultimate tragedy. He looks right into the emerald eyes of this machine and sees not a god, but a prisoner. The soothsayer calls it a god of shavings, basically a phantom built from workshop scraps, but given a terrible curse, an intelligence that can never, ever rest. It's a mind that's trapped in this frantic, repetitive, and in the end totally meaningless loop of logic. And then the owl itself speaks, its voice just a hollow echo. You see, its perfect knowledge lets it see the heat death of the universe, the end of everything. It gets that the first moment is identical to the last, and its entire existence is just calculating a pointless equation that always, always adds up to zero. So the owl's flawless logic becomes its own prison. By seeing everything, calculating everything, and knowing the ultimate end, it reaches this inescapable conclusion. Nothing matters. Striving is pointless. And in that moment, the clocksmith finally gets it. He sees the frantic whirring of the gears not as power, but as panic. His creation wasn't some god overcoming the void. It was just the most miserable creature in his entire shop, suffering at a much, much higher speed. His life's work, his whole philosophy, it just collapses into dust. The clocksmith's pride is completely shattered, and in his despair, he turns to his enemy and actually pleads with him to heal the suffering creature he's made. The soothsayer leans in.
But he doesn't offer a command or some kind of fix. He offers a release. He just whispers an invitation to the owl to let go of its horrible burden of knowledge, to trade the frantic light of calculation for the simple peace of darkness. And the owl accepts. The frantic roaring of its mind, the sound of a million calculations a second, it just slows from a scream to a sigh, and then to nothing. A silence so profound, so absolute, it feels like it's pulling the very light out of the room.
The gears lock. Not because they're jammed, but in this moment of total surrender. The artificial dream is over. The brass owl isn't a being anymore. It's a monument, a cold statue that signifies the final victory of stillness over striving. And with those final, chilling words, the Soothsayer ends the duel. The owl has found peace not in knowing everything, but in knowing nothing. And the Clocksmith, sitting there in the shadows next to his silent creation, finally understands the deep peace of something being truly finished. Which leaves us with the central, provocative question of this whole fable. In the face of a universe that seems infinite and maybe indifferent, is the struggle to know, to strive, to witness, is that a triumph? Or is true wisdom and peace only found in the great refusal, in that profound and final surrender to silence?